How many times a day do you speak to yourself in a way you would never speak to someone you love? How often do you replay old mistakes, criticize your decisions, or compare yourself to other people? For many individuals, this inner dialogue becomes so familiar that they barely notice it anymore. Yet, the way we treat ourselves often has a greater influence on the quality of our lives than any external circumstance. Robert Smith frequently reminds his audiences of a simple but powerful truth. If you want to change your life, you must begin with your relationship with yourself. Many people spend years trying to change their partner, their family, their job, or the world around them. But lasting transformation rarely begins on the outside. It begins within. And at the center of that transformation is self-love. Are you your own worst critic? Wow. It is remarkable how easily we can show understanding and compassion toward others while struggling to offer the same kindness to ourselves. When a friend makes a mistake, we look for reasons, context, and understanding. When we make the same mistake, we often judge ourselves immediately. It can feel as though an inner critic is constantly watching, evaluating, and finding fault. This inner critic often pretends to be helpful. It tells us it is trying to motivate us or protect us from failure. In reality, it frequently creates fear, doubt, and insecurity. Over time, we may begin to believe that we are not good enough, smart enough, successful enough, or worthy enough. These beliefs quietly shape our decisions, relationships, and everyday experiences. Change does not begin with a fight. Many people believe they must fix themselves before they can be happy. They search endlessly for flaws that need to be eliminated. The problem is that the more we fight ourselves, the more exhausted we become. It is like trying to extinguish a fire by pouring gasoline on it. Self-love does not mean ignoring areas where growth is needed. It means looking at yourself with greater understanding. It means recognizing that many of your reactions developed as attempts to cope with life in the best way you knew how at the time. When you stop punishing yourself for the past, you create space for genuine growth and change. The way you treat yourself shapes your relationships. The relationship you have with yourself is reflected in every other relationship in your life. If you are constantly hard on yourself, you may become overly critical of others. If you do not believe you are worthy, you may spend your life seeking validation from people around you. If you struggle to accept yourself, it can be difficult to fully receive love, appreciation, and support. When you begin changing the way you relate to yourself, your entire world starts to shift. You become more patient, more compassionate, and more peaceful. Those qualities naturally influence your interactions with others and create healthier, deeper, and more meaningful relationships. Making peace with yourself. One of the greatest obstacles to personal growth is the belief that we must earn our worth. We tell ourselves that we will finally be enough once we achieve more, earn more money, lose weight, gain recognition, or become someone different. True peace does not come from the future. It comes from the moment you allow yourself to accept who you are right now. Not because you are perfect, but because you are human. Acceptance does not stop growth. It creates the foundation that makes growth possible. Small steps create big transformations. Self-love is not a one-time decision. It is a daily practice. It is the way you speak to yourself after making a mistake. It is your willingness to rest when you need rest. It is your ability to recognize progress instead of focusing exclusively on what remains unfinished. You may not change your entire life in a single day, but today you can take one small step. You can choose to be a little kinder to the person who will spend every moment of your life with you, yourself. When you learn to love yourself, you do not become less ambitious or less motivated. In fact, the opposite often happens. You stop wasting energy fighting yourself and begin using that energy to create a life that feels more meaningful, fulfilling, and aligned with who you truly are. If you would like to explore emotional healing, personal growth, and the principles of faster EFT more deeply, You can find additional resources and ebooks that may support your journey. Enter my store.